Adam Lowen. This is my, it's been about a month and a half, I think. Made a lot of promises last time, and hopefully I think I came through on most of them. But that's not what we're here to talk about right now. The reason I might not have had success with a lot of the things I was trying was because I was completely absorbed in a horrifying, life-changing process with my roommates as well. We all had to endure this, and what I'm talking about here is BedBugs. You heard me, BedBugs. If you didn't know, BedBugs suck. They do exist, and they fucking suck when you have them. Basically, let me take you back to the start here. So we were hanging out at the house, and our roommate Sam, he's the Cambodian guy. One of his defining features. He's just like, hey guys, come look at this rash, and he had just got back from Cambodia, and then he had gone to LA. So he's like, guys, check out this rash I got. And I was like, oh, whatever, but then next thing I know, Alex is like, oh dude, that's fucking BedBugs, dude. You got bit by BedBugs. And everybody's like, oh no way, because when have you heard that term, like BedBugs? That's something you haven't heard since you were a child, and you'd never seen them. It was a rhyme. It was not a reality. But apparently they're a lot more common now. It's kind of there's a resurgence because who knows? But more people are traveling, and maybe the pesticides we use to kill them aren't as effective now because of the damn hippies. So we all are looking at the this rash, and it's like bump, bump, bump. What they do is they while you're asleep, they crawl out from the shadows, and they creep up to you, and they're attracted to your heat and your CO2 emissions. So you can't fool them unless you can fool them. That's kind of how people tease them out sometimes. They use dry ice. And then they are attracted to the dry ice, and you can kill them with a line of poison. They'll walk right over it and fucking die and never make it to their destination, which is a solid plan. But they'll bite you. They'll stick their proboscis in there and drain out the blood, like a drip of blood will fill up their body, and then they go to sleep on you. They just ate all this food and then it's time to crash. Then they wake up, a little bit down the line, walk a couple more steps. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, look, a body. I'll bite that. So drink your blood again. They'll do that about 3 times. 3 is usually what they do. And then long before you wake up, they'll wander off somewhere. They love to crawl into little crevasses, and they like plastic and... Well, they don't like plastic at all, but they like mattress tags. So they like to kind of creep where your mattress meets the tag, or in the stitches, or I'm sure there's a nice clump of them inside my box spring. That's probably where they're hanging out. So that's what the bite is like, and so we're like, oh, you got bit by BedBugs. That's funny. I've never heard of this or whatever. But we were kind of on the lookout, and I remember saying dude, if we got BedBugs, we're done. Let me explain. My house, our house, the flop house, is shaped like a big S, basically. And it's just stacked and crunched together. All the rooms are small spaces with all kinds of angles and cubby holes and closets. This is fucking BedBug utopia. This is where they want to be. Whoever... Indiana Jones of BedBugs found hitchhiked on one of our shoes or whatever and found this place, just Eureka, the legends were true. It was a happy day for that guy and his 87 eggs. Her 87 eggs. So this is a terrible place. We probably should have moved out. That would have probably been a better plan. But we didn't. We were coming up to the end of our 1-year lease, and I remember everybody's like, well, I don't know if I want to do another year. We negotiate for 6 months. I was like, no, This place is fucking awesome. I want to stay here. I'm staying here. If I have to find some Craigslisters, I'll do it. I will condescend to the Craigslist level because this house is fucking awesome. You might not, everyone in the world might not think so, but it's haunted. That's a good thing for me. You can't hear stuff going on in the basement from anywhere, like from outside or up in the attic. So, I mean, you can play drums all odd hours of the day. That's like my dream. So this place is like exactly what I want. It's close in. It's in a terrible neighborhood, you know, relatively. So it's super, super cheap. You know, after I've been in Portland 2 years, and this is just kind of like, yeah, this is it. This is the spot. So I wanted to stay here, and the other, I know one person really wasn't happy here, one person kind of wasn't happy here. The other two were just like, well, whatever, let's see what happens, and you know, move on if we have to. But I was like, no, I'm staying here, and like little by little, I was able to kind of coax them into staying. It is a 2+ bedroom technically, but that plus goes a real long way. I would say there's 5 or 6 major sleeping spots, and then like you could stretch it out to like 9 if you wanted. So this is like a perfect art house. Like you could have like any number of people crashing here, like with increasing discomfort. The level where it becomes not enjoyable is right around 5 people, and that's including the boyfriend and girlfriend stuff, which is everybody's got them. And no pets yet, but we want pets. But I'm way off topic here. So this is like a great place for them, and we're just like, yeah, if we get bedbugs, we're doomed. It's over. About a month passed, and it was still kind of in the air because my girlfriend, Lindsay, is like, she is kind of like the house. Like, she's the bait. Like, they love her meat. It's full of sugar, and something about her, they eat the shit. I have not had a bite, and I'm in the worst affected room, like pretty much my room. I don't get the bites. A lot of people don't. Apparently, I think it's like the estimate always ranges, but I've seen 80% of people who get bit, they won't actually have the rash, like it won't swell up like a mosquito bite or whatever. But she does, and she's like our litmus test. Like, she sleeps in the bed. Shocking, yeah. Someone sleeps in my bed, but and they you know, in the morning she's got them. So she was like, no, you guys have. I was like, no, shut up, woman. We don't have shit. And then sure enough, I saw like a little dot, you know, one of those like 6 o'clock in the morning, like going a little loopy kind of editing sessions, and I saw like a little dot moving on my bed. I'm like, oh, what's that? I like squished it, big puddle of blood, like it lifted up like a streak, and I'm like, what's tiny on my bed and full of blood? Okay, alright, I see where you're going with this. So that was kind of when I was like, oh shit, the legends were true, like this is it. So then I picked up my mattress, and it was never bad. I mean, they were never like everywhere. And inside, you know, I found, like, right along the edge of the bed line, there was, like, an adult, which they're about the size of a tick. They don't have all the creepy legs like ticks, so they aren't actually scary. I don't find them scary. I'm afraid of bugs, like, kind of. Like, I'm definitely afraid of spiders, but these aren't, like, scary like that. Like, ticks are scary. If there were ticks in my bed, I'd be scared. Maybe, I don't know. If there were spiders in my bed, I'd definitely be scared. In that kind of search, like, the big stakeout, like, I found, like, 4, and I stuck them to a piece of tape so I'd have them on display, and I beat them. I got answers out of them. They didn't tell me where the base was. They swore to God they didn't know, but I mean, we don't talk about that very much anymore, but I got my answers. That's what matters. Unluckily, in the state of Oregon, property management is liable for that. Like, they had to pay for the exterminator, but it's still an enormous pain in the ass. Like, unbelievably. Like, oh, you had bugs? Well, that's not a big deal. No. You don't understand. This was like, okay, so anything you have that's made of, like, cloth, like clothing, bedclothes, towels, whatever, that shit has to go through, like, hot wash and hot dryer for like double time, because they might be in there, they might be like laying eggs or whatever. You got to kill them with the heat. They respond to heat. Because they can crawl into little tight areas, like the pressure's not going to kill them and stuff, and they can live without movement, food, or water for like 18 months is kind of the estimate. So you can't just like wait it out. They will win that one. But so there we are at the laundromat with like my van full of shit, just going through tumble dry. Every bit of furniture has got to be moved away from the wall because they got to spray the bedboards. Every knick-knack, you put everything into bags, like seal it up, double bag it. So, I mean, we just had like 5 things in garbage bags. I mean, it was nuts. Like, it was like 3 days of solid hard work. Like moving, but if you're moving, you can be like a little more reckless. But we had to like stack the stuff. We had to like be careful with this stuff, and then we didn't really have anywhere to put it. So it's like moving multiple times. So that's not even all you have to do. Because they spray, and it, ostensibly, it doesn't kill them, but it makes like death for them. So then you come back as the bait. You lay in your bed, you breathe and sleep, and they come after you, and then they walk on the poison and die. Unless they happen to have gotten bombarded by the spray the first time, but that's kind of the mechanism by which they are all killed, is they come to get you and they crawl into the poison again, because they could be 10, 20 feet away from your bed. And so you have to have this done at least twice, maybe as much as like 4. I mean, maybe forever if you didn't do it thoroughly. But so we're at 2 right now, and it's getting real old. I mean, I've had all my stuff packed away, so I haven't really been able to do much. We've just mostly been jamming. And during this time where we're doing this, we're sitting here trying to find new roommates, because we had 2 people move away. Alex moved away, and then Helen moved away, and so they're like, we have to be careful not to have them take it with them, because that's how they get spread. They don't like march all the way like on a pilgrimage. They cling to things, and then they travel with you by clinging. So like, and at the same time, we didn't want to be 3 people in the house, because that would have been expensive. It would have been okay, but we wanted more roommates. So we're trying to like attract people to this like situation, which just isn't great. I can't tell if it's out of focus. I don't really care. You don't care. Who cares? So weirdly enough, I was doing auditions for Stein. I should mention that. Yeah, Stein is still going. I'm not letting it die. I've got a really great idea for the future, and I'm kind of just looking for a new group of people, kind of with a different mindset from, just anyone I've worked with. I'm just kind of looking for a really particular type of person. Kind of non-musicians, almost. Like musicians, of course, but like not with the musical like attitude, because I'm kind of like that. Like, I don't really have the musical attitude thing, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm just like a guy who, I make music, but I don't like it's not like my life. I like to play and stuff, but so anyway, I've been doing this like rigorous campaign of Craigslisting. And asking friends and stuff, but I haven't got any friends on board. I got a drummer. I'm really happy with her. She's really cool. And the day I tried out this bassist, he was like, "Oh, well, I'm going on a road trip, and when I come back, I'm going to be looking for a place to live. Like it's going to be like, a deal breaker for the band or something." I was like, "No, dude, come live here." And he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't really take it seriously, but he actually went on his road trip, went all over the California, Mexico, I think, Las Vegas, and came back, and and he moved in. So he's a really cool guy. He's got a projector. He's got 1,000 instruments. The house is just loaded with instruments now. It's totally great. And the band's doing good. I'm still kind of putting it together. I've done a lot of auditions, actually. Strangely enough, it's the guitarists and the keys players that are really hard to find. The kind that I like. Drums and bass, I could go a lot of different ways. But these guys are they kind of sold me on what they do right off the bat. So I haven't been looking. We were actually thinking of moving Ross to guitar just because it's not hard for me to find a bassist. So we got all that going. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here trying to juggle the auditions with like telling everybody like, yeah, we have BedBugs. So I don't know if you actually want to come into our house, but you're welcome to. So it was, it was kind of this like embarrassing, weird situation with all of our friends. My girlfriend is forbidden from staying here, so I have to basically wait till they're all gone before she's like allowed to come here, because we don't want to spread the bugs. But during that whole period where we were moving the house, it was we were thinking about it and talking about it nonstop. And at first it was like, oh, Sam brought the BedBugs in, but this does not seem to be the case. Like when we really thought about it, there were like tens of possibilities. I mean, you can get them at movie theaters. One of our roommates works a movie theater. You can get them any hostel or hotel. You probably have some. And we have everybody who's traveling. Everybody's traveling. I went to Seattle and Missoula. Helen was in Russia a while back, but who knows when it was. Furniture brought into the house. That's a big one. We brought in couches. We brought in wooden stuff. They love that stuff. So it could have been that. And it probably was that, actually, all told. So the whole, like, blame circle, like, we were, like, very, like, oh, God, like, blaming each other and stuff. But it actually is that's most likely what happened, is that we brought the Responsa bro, the guys next door, the Nates, skater Nates next door, were moving out. And we were like, oh, dude, give us all your shit. That was a bad idea. It probably, we probably got BedBugs from like a Tony Hawk instructional video, which we didn't even want. So, they got treated at some point. It was kind of hush-hush with like the property management. I don't think they want everybody to know, which is stupid, because of course you want everybody to know, then they can look for them, get them out of there, but whatever. But since we've gotten treated, we've been like watching it, we've been talking to the pest control, and they're like, yeah, those guys had it, and they've had it sprayed and it didn't seem to work, and they did it again. When they moved out, I'll bet they took care of it. And then we found out that across the way on the second floor, one day a van pulled up, and they're like unloading these jet engines and blowing them through ductwork. This is a heat treatment. This is really costly, and that's when it's so bad that the spray isn't going to work. It's just they're too pernicious. They're like too tucked in there. So apparently somebody over there had an infestation, like where if you were in the house, you'd be like, this is fucking gross. These things are everywhere. So yeah, where did we get them? Probably from one of the neighbors, like probably from some furniture we brought in, or I don't know, like maybe we were sitting on the picnic table. But it is funny. People have had nervous breakdowns over this, and I could see how that could happen. I mean, I'm kind of a meticulous person, and you try and cover every possible like place they could be and think everything out. But I mean, the bottom line is like, you're either gonna get them or you're not, and you don't really have a lot of control over that. If you're in like a tenement or like an apartment where there's other units nearby, like you can get them treated yourself, but if the neighbors still have them, they're gonna crawl right back in. So people have gone like crazy about this, and I actually, like, the day it happened, I got a little loopy, just because I was so looking for them everywhere, and then all of a sudden you're so clued into the like microcosmic level that you see black dots everywhere, and you see every bug, and you look at it and you're like, trying to identify it. And I mean, that day I was throwing away the vacuum because it was shit. I threw away the vacuum, and as I was walking back, I just stopped, and I looked in the dumpster, and there was actually a piece of furniture with one of them on it, and I just saw it sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck? And I went back in the house. I was like, guys, dude, they're fucking everywhere. That's it. The whole neighborhood's overrun. Let's just pack our bags and get out. But actually, that was one of the pieces of furniture that one of the roommates had thrown away. But that's how you get so you can see them everywhere. And since then, I've seen, like 5 of them. It's not a serious infestation, but it's just something where it's such a pain in the ass to take care of that, we were flipping out a little bit. It was like, I mean, because, like, just, take your day. Like, you have shit to do. You're tired and bored, and, well, this is my life anyway. You can't do any of your shit. Like, every free second, you got to be, like, dealing with this whole, like, bed bug thing. You got to be thinking about it. You got to be telling everybody, hey, like, really early in the fucking morning before anyone gets up, this chick's going to come over and we all have to be out of the house for half the day. And you're telling this to like 10 people. It was like a lot to manage, and a lot of it kind of got thrust on me just because I'm like the monkey boss of the house, more or less. Sarah's kind of like the monkey queen, and I'm the boss, and we bicker, and it's great. But I mean, in general, I was kind of pulling everything together, and it was just I kind of got, like, it kind of got to the point where I was just like really drained, and I was really feeling that. So if anything, that's kind of why I've been like struggling to keep up, because I have had a lot of free time, and the zoo hours are getting I actually got my zoo coat on. The hours are getting cut back because it's rainy time again. So I think we're pretty much in the clear now. Maybe one more spray. This is the time when we took everything out, so everything's unpacked, and if we have to spray again, it's going to be the whole do all over again. The pack all over again. But I kind of just wanted to tell everybody about this so that you look. If you ever suspect, like if you ever find bumps or anything, and you maybe suspect that you have them. I mean, check it out, because this is like a big deal if you find them, and it's something that before it happened to me, I did not realize that this was a thing. I actually didn't even know fleas were a thing. I don't know. I've been lucky. We had ants. That was a big thing at my house. Not like termites, but like the big black carpenter ants. They hijacked into the house across a tree limb, and then there was just colonies, like swarms of them in the house. And the worst thing that ever happened with that was God. I mean, they were everywhere. Like you could look in any direction, you'd see like three, probably something like three, and they were flying all around. You just got used to it. Like, just got used to it. But the one thing that was bad was, like, I remember one day I was totally just like sitting there, just like munching on my cereal, and I mean, I didn't take the bite, but I brought the spoon up and I looked into the milk, and the milk was like twitching. It was like undulating, and so I'm just like waiting. Like, it was probably like, actually no, I think it was Raisin Bran, because I was thinking Frosted Flakes, but I think it was Raisin Bran, because I was like, oh, it's just a raisin, but why is the raisin like kicking? And then, yeah, like an ant floated to the surface, and it's just like hovering there. I was like, okay, that's not cool. That's not cool. That's enough. So I've had like bugs, but I haven't had these ones where it's more than just a matter of like getting some Raid and spraying the shit out of them, like you can do with like hornets or whatever. But they're these like invisible bugs that I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, what's the harm, They drink a little tiny thimbleful of your blood. I need to be giving blood anyway. That's good. I have too much of it. But the problem is that they're just going to keep reproducing, there's going to be more and more, and then it'll be bad. Luckily, the house doesn't have anything else. It's just the bed bugs. There's no, not bad spiders or anything like that. Millipedes, nothing like that. So that's kind of it. I just, I know there were a couple people who gave a shit or curious about it, but I mean, more than anything, it's just, I've learned from this, is like, if you go on a trip, be that guy, like, be the douchebag that puts everything in plastic, like Ziplocs. I mean, you can get these, like, giant Ziplocs, too. And just, when you get home, wash everything, take a shower, because this will protect you, and this is gonna get worse. Like, the bed bug thing is getting worse in, like, cities. Like, cities have bed bugs. I mean, there was something that, I don't know, it seems like you didn't really hear about it for quite a while. And then when I told my grandma, she was like, oh, I don't think they still have bed bugs. when I was a little girl on the farm, we had to boil everything we owned in a big pot, and so that's, I guess, how you got rid of him then, was you just boil